Today in cloud gaming news, we have some crazy good stuff for the future of two services. Finally, one of them is leveling up in PlayStation Now that is set to get 1080p resolution. I'm going to have the details on that. xCloud has rolled out to both iOS and web app support to some mixed reviews, but I've had some interesting experience with it and you're going to want to hear that. Finally, GeForce Now gets more games this week. All that in this video. Make sure you're subscribed to always be up to date with cloud gaming news by hitting that red button down below. So PlayStation Now tweeted today they're going to begin the rollout of streaming capable 1080p games this week. It's curious because this week's almost over and I'm not exactly sure what this means by saying capable 1080p games. Maybe that's just a reference to the older titles on their library that don't have 1080p at all, but it will be curious to see if any more modern games don't have that 1080p. But I have to say this is the beginning of what I'm expecting going forward for PlayStation to start taking this a lot more serious. I'm not sure it's a complete coincidence. It's the exact same week that xCloud has expanded their service. PlayStation has been falling behind quite a bit with cloud gaming, and I think they are seeing the success of other services and they're barely starting to react now. When you look at their competitor, xCloud is set to bring their own exclusives to their own streaming service, and they are putting even brand new games day and date on the service. It's paying dividends for them because what is happening is people are trying games out on xCloud and they are essentially demoing the game. Then if they like it, since xCloud doesn't exactly run the best, they go ahead and buy it or simply download it before taking that plunge, especially since some of these games today are taking up an insane amount of hard drive space. It's a hard choice as to what you actually want to download onto your box today, and it's just funny how you have to make these decisions. And this is coming on the heels of PlayStation Store being restored on the PS3 and PS Vita after they had announced they were going to shut it down. Something that PlayStation had gotten a ton of backlash for. For me personally, PlayStation has had so many questionable decisions this new generation, when last generation they were actually at the forefront of being for the customer, putting out great games on PS Now and really making that service itself being a great value could potentially garner a lot of goodwill for them. But then again, they might not care too much considering how PlayStation 5 can never stay in stock, and we know that they are still making plenty of money. It will be curious going forward what the plans are for PlayStation Now in regards to, at the very minimum, putting exclusives on there. The past 4 months they've been putting good games on PlayStation Now, even some exclusives, and it's been worthwhile service to actually check out, and it's worked actually pretty good performance wise for me as well. But I want to see a lot more here going forward, and I really hope that this is the start of some really good stuff in the future. Well, guys, if you haven't heard by now, xCloud has finally launched to both iOS and web browsers to a select number who own Game Pass through an invite through their email, and well, it's about time it's here. This is coming on the heels of the service getting big games like Outriders and MLB The Show 21 and almost all the Bethesda games, and honestly, the momentum for this service continues to gain a lot of speed. And I've gotten to test out the web browser, and let's say this for the record, guys. You guys know nobody's been tougher on Xbox and xCloud more than me the past 12 months. Nobody. I've given them a lot of flack for their performance, but so far the web running through the Edge browser in my limited time has run without any hitches, except maybe like the occasional hearing the sound kind of glitch out, which tells me it still has some ways to go, but it is absolutely running much better than my experience on Android pretty much for the last 14, 12, now we can even go back to 2019 when I was testing it out even back then in beta. This has been working way better. I haven't had a chance to look at iOS yet, and I will this upcoming weekend, and of course I'm going to report the performance to you guys, but so far I have to say I'm beyond impressed because really the bar has been set so low, and the fact that I've been able to game without any issues has been really nice for a change. Obviously the games don't look super pretty, but for me that's never been the thing I care about the most when I cloud game. If you're wanting access to this beta for the iOS and web app support, don't fret sweat if you have Xbox Game Pass and you haven't gotten your invite yet. Every single day invites have been going out. I have 2 accounts, one for my little brother and one for me on this channel, and I got my invites on separate days. Overall though, I have to say kudos yet again to Xbox and Xbox Game Streaming. They have knocked it out of the park with this rollout, but of course my expectations were really set super low. And the good thing is that they are focusing on games and working on the performance. When this thing actually starts getting those blade upgrades, I'm gonna end up having really high sky expectations, and this is gonna be one to really keep watching out for. As always guys, I'm gonna keep you up to date going forward. Make sure you stay subscribed to this channel as we continue to just see the evolution of this service, and I'm finally glad that this thing is trending in an upward direction in regards to performance. It's literally been my biggest issue. Finally, to end today's video, GeForce Now, the model of consistency, is at it again this week with 15 games releasing to the service, as well as getting some big DLC love with the newest free expansion of Warhammer Vermintide 2, and of course the new Immortals Phoenix Rising and Lost Gods DLC. Also, the 15 games here are looking pretty good. Big fan personally of Darksiders, Yester Grace, Port Royale, and even the Anno series. Good stuff as usual with GFN, and I do look forward to the upcoming week when we do get to hear about next month's plans or the service, and it should be some good stuff. With that guys, let me know your thoughts today on the big PS Now news finally getting 1080p support, xCloud and the iOS and web browser support. What has your experience been so far? I'm curious if people are having similar performance as myself, which has been good. And finally, your thoughts on GeForce Now this week. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. I'm Sunny, and I'll see you in the clouds.